Hi, I'm Maria Ingold. We're at Connected Media IP at NAB 2018. I am with Roger Franklin, the president and CEO of Crystal. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And how are you finding NAB so far?
It's like the many others that I've been to, except it's a little busier where we are.
Okay.
There's a lot of interest in some of the new advertising technology that Crystal's put out there. And the conversations are much more ad-centric than they have been in the past, which is good to hear.
That's good. So can you give me a little bit of context about what Crystal does?
Certainly. Crystal is over 30 years old, and we grew up in the monitor and control business, monitoring video distribution networks. A lot of those were over satellite at the time. A lot of them still are, but there are other means as well now. For the last 8 to 10 years, we've also focused on extending that monitor and control to the video metadata and SCTE markers within the video signal itself. These markers are highly relevant today as we look at how should we do dynamic ad replacement and live divide automation and some of those new requirements that our video distribution customers have.
Yes, they're important because you have to be exactly frame accurate, and
if you want it to look professional, you have to be frame accurate, absolutely. And we've all seen cable channels with local avail marks and local ads spliced in that weren't frame accurate.
Yes.
I had a personal mission a few years ago to solve that problem, and making sure the markers are accurate so that it is right is the first step to solving that problem.
Very good. So one of the issues that you were talking about is packaging content into a sort of something just single and uniform is not going to meet any future needs.
Right.
So what are you doing in that area?
The video distribution business has always been a broadcast business. It's everybody gets the same channel. That's not good anymore. And the way the systems have been developed and the way they work today is there's a single channel packager at the broadcast facility called a playout automation system, and that puts together a linear channel that goes everywhere. In order to personalize it and without creating millions of individual channels with 90% of the content exactly the same, we have to take that playout capability and distribute it along the distribution path. And in order to have truly distributed playout, you have to signal exactly where segments of video start and stop. Which segments can be replaced and can be personalized. Which segments do you apply specific graphics to downstream or not? Which segments have to be blacked out? And in order to provide that distributed playout capability, you need the right signaling. And that's the focus that Crystal has had for the last couple of years, is making sure that signaling is correct, so that distributed playout and personalized video can be delivered to viewers today on really any platform, not just OT&T, but it can be delivered on cable platforms, ATSC 1.0 over-the-air platforms, as well as ATSC 3.0.
So speaking of not just doing this sort of traditional delivery, so not just doing video on demand, you're also looking at live and appointment-based. How is that differing?
Right. The companies like Netflix and traditional YouTube they've got video on demand sorted out pretty well. If you want to do dynamic ad insertion and video on demand, it's really not that complicated. You have video files. When one ends, you start another one. You don't have a problem of a specific duration that has to be filled to the frame.
Absolutely.
In a live world or a linear channel where appointment viewing is still happening, there's still $70 billion of ad revenue in linear TV today. The ad breaks are specific lengths. You have to fill those exactly to the frame, to the second, and it's a different animal. And one of those things that humans are very interested in is live sports.
Yes, absolutely.
And live news, and it's unpredictable. You'll never be able to take a VOD platform and distribute live sports content using the same VOD technology. It's a different animal, and it's a harder problem to solve. It happens to be the problem that Crystal enjoys solving.
So what are some of those challenges around delivering ad insertion into live events, sports and news like you're talking about?
There are a lot of challenges. One is understanding, knowing what's about to happen, knowing how long ad breaks are going to be.
Yes.
In live sports in particular, you may not know when, you definitely won't know when those ad breaks will occur. You have a pretty good idea of how many or what type might be coming up. So you can plan for the types of breaks that will occur, but you don't know when. And so making sure that downstream distributors understand the possibilities of what will occur and giving them the signaling of exactly when it will occur, it's important. The other aspect is there are a lot of rules associated with advertising. Some of them are business rules, some of them are regulatory rules.
Oh, yeah.
So helping communicate what those rules are to companies' ad decision systems downstream that will put together an ad break and build a group of ads. Helping them understand that you can't put Coke and Pepsi in the same ad break. Helping them understand that
do they struggle to understand this sometimes?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Southwest Airlines does not want to advertise after a news clip that reported on a plane crash. You cannot advertise alcohol before 9 p.m. in Australia. There are a lot of rules that companies that have traditionally done dynamic ad insertion for VOD systems don't quite understand or appreciate. There's also, to my knowledge, no industry standard to communicate those rules. And that's something Crystal's looking at hard. Are we going to get the industry together? Are we going to lead the industry in developing a standard to communicate those rules, develop a format so that those rules can be delivered between parties and well understood? I personally think there needs to be a standard.
Yeah.
And right now I'm running through my time log to see if I've got the bandwidth to actually help usher that standard in.
Well, I think that's a great idea, getting a lot of that nuance communicated to people because it's subtle.
It is.
So I wish you luck with putting together the standard, and thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we welcome you back next year, I hope.
I'm looking forward to it.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.